Hey guys, how you doing? I'm just out here right now. I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna throw some music. We'll be back in a few minutes here. I just wanna post this out here and give you guys heads up what we got going on and play some music. And I'll be back in a few minutes. But I just want to pop in here and kind of talk with you guys. Just let you know we'll be on just a short time. Hey guys, many blessings, and we'll see you in a few. All right, guys, so here we go. I hope everybody's doing well. We're gonna go and look over some markets today. We've got some cool stuff going on in the markets, and it's a really interesting thing that what we're seeing, especially when it comes to commodities and the price of food, um, gas. This is important by looking at the chart to see where they're gonna go, because people are obviously going to put things to the necessity of things that they need before they buy crypto, right? Just like if are you going to put money in, you're going to pay rent, or are you going to buy crypto, right? Or are you going to feed yourself, or are you going to buy crypto? So it's important to understand a few things like this so you can understand kind of the fullness of the market. It's a really unique thing, not because of a um what's the word am I looking for? Not necessarily because of the system itself, like, but it's just it's human nature, right? You're gonna feed yourself over your investment, right? So it's just those little things that I always tell people pay attention to, and you can kind of gauge kind of like where people are at. Now, one of the things I always want to bring up here real quick, as you all know, that I am not, this is not a financial advice. We, as Moonrock, myself, and or Meme Chain Capital, or any other organization that does come on here into the show, this is basically what we are. We're not financial advice. This information provided on this video and website and live stream does not constitute as investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and should not be treated any of the videos and website content as such. I, Meme Chain Capital, Moonrock, and any other guests on here do not recommend any cryptocurrency or any other assets that are mentioned should be bought, sold, held by the viewer or listener. Do conduct your own due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any advice decisions. I am not a financial advisor, and this content is not meant for, and this content is meant for entertainment purposes. Please consult a tax professional on any gains or losses as a result of investing into crypto or any assets invested in. This is not financial advice, but it is for entertainment and social educational purposes. All right, guys, with that out of the way, I hope everybody's doing good today. I hope you guys are in the green and making that money if you are day trading. It's been a very unique morning. We've had some up and downs. Kind of expected that a little. Right now, we're in between some spots on the S&P 500, as well as if you're looking at Bitcoin, we are definitely in a little range here. So it's something to be paying attention to. Here we go. I'll pull it up. Little daily chart you can see here real quick. And I'll just go over this real quick right now. We're in between this stage of that 20 and the 8 moving averages. We'll see what happens. But we're coming down into this range here on a weekly candle here. So as you guys know, I talked about how we're in between this weekly candle. If we break to the upside, we have this 200 period. And if we break to the downside, we kind of have just a slippery slide down. So we're going to see what happens. I pointed out the $17,000 zone right here. We're still in between this area here. So it's something to be paying attention to. If we do come back down into this, we want to make sure we're seeing certain types of movements in the market and just paying attention to it, right? Because the reality is after this, we have a nice slide down to at least the 400 period moving average and or the 10,000. So the 400 period moving average is sitting at around, again, this is the weekly, okay, right? So it's something that you guys need to pay attention to, that 12,000 mark. These are big junctional moves. This is a meta, I guess I've coined it technical meta information, right? It's more of the long scale. We have the, or actually let's say micro technical analysis. No, micro. No, we don't want macro. Forgive me. The macro technical analysis on things. So I definitely look at this, especially that 400 period moving average based off the weekly. We did see on many of our other things that we've been looking at that weekly, we've hit the weekly area enough times and the daily enough times. When I was talking with many of the guys in Moonrock when Bitcoin was at that $50,000 mark, that that we weren't. If we start to show weakness there, it's not going to be it's not going to be an easy thing. So for us to get through. So yeah, just giving you guys heads up. Now, right now, I'm in today in the market. Give me one second. Our special guest is coming on. It's going to be Chris Koopman. He is my trading coach. He's the man that I look to if I'm having trouble. This guy is such a good guy. I love him to death. He does not have to be doing what he's doing. I've seen this man clear $1 million. Or I don't know. I don't know if it was $1 million. It might have been $1 million. I know I've seen him clear a couple of times where he's had easily trades of easily trades of a couple $100,000 for just one trade, right? Not a bad day, right? When you can make a couple $100,000 in a couple days. So I always say that was always cool. The It's almost like when I first saw Bob Don and I saw his screen and he had a few trades of hits that were running in the millions of dollars. That was insanity. I remember seeing the first time as a young trader, seeing that going, wow, it's possible, right? Like that's possible. So I'm always blown away when I see somebody, P&L, if they're willing, or if they discuss it. A lot of times we more or less talk pips and or ticks, right? How many ticks did you get that day? You don't really ask somebody, how much money you make. It's not appropriate, right? But you do ask, hey, how many ticks you get that day, right? And so it's cool. It's one of those fair games, you can always ask. But in the short of things is Bitcoin right now. So sorry, and the short of it is that our special guest is going to be coming on later on. Ralphie will be coming into the show. We'll be talking about some of the fundamental analysis on things, and I would say he's gonna. We're gonna be discussing politics and crypto stuff. So yeah, I just want to give you guys heads up, let you guys know what's up. It's cool. All right, let's go on and get right back into this here real quick. One of the things I also want to bring up as well, and I'm sorry for business purposes, we are doing some major stuff within Moonrock. They've got some big stuff going on up ahead, and once they come out with the time capsule marketplace and time capsule staking, that's going to be really impressive to be able to set things up. So be looking forward to that, guys. It's taken longer than what we expected, but it is going to happen, and that will be a big deal. So I want to encourage everybody to keep paying attention, coming to the AMAs. Got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be really cool. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and jump right into this here again. So Bitcoin, as we see here, we're definitely starting to make a trend down. Now, it's important for me when I'm looking at this because we've got a really nice setup here on the weekly. If you see here that you have this beautiful small candle, we weren't able to really, make any dent moving up. We went up for Monday, and then Tuesday we sold off, and we're continuing to sell off within this week. So like we're in this range here. So it's something that you guys need to be mindful of. I'm gonna change up the music here just a little. Here we go. Where was it? Here we go. Boom. It's being almost distracting for me in a little. So here we are. All right, so one of the things that I want to bring up here as well is this junctional point. If we cross this area on the seller mark, right on the green here, or excuse me, in the seller wick here, we can see here that we've got a pretty slippery slide. So make sure you're paying attention, especially on your intra time frames. That might be a pretty push. That might be a really big push. So make sure you are paying attention to this level right here. And if we break it, maybe look for some type of retracement back into it, and make sure that your risk is where you need to have it, because it's going to be kind of volatile once it crosses this area. So we could see it push down, then come back up and push down into maybe the 17,000, if not further to that 10,000 mark. So like I said, there's a few things here that you guys need to make sure that we're paying attention to. And again, I'm going to mark out, what I normally do right here for the 400, point this out that this is the 400 daily weekly period moving average. So if we come down in a quick, as we all know, Bitcoin could easily move and cut out 50% of its value like that, just because how quickly it moves. Right now we're at some pretty good junctional points. Now let's check out real quick the longs and the shorts within Bitcoin, just to see what's going on there with it. Where are you guys at? Let me just pull it up here. Bitcoin long. Now, as many of you guys know, this is an indication of how many buyers and sellers are stepping in and looking to. So if people are long, we indicate it from the blockchain right here. We can see how many people are buying into Bitcoin and how many sellers are stepping in. So we can see here we do on the weekly chart, starting to have a little bit of a sell-off. Not much, but we are starting to see it since the first time. This is the weekly. Now, if we see right here, we're starting to see again a little rounding pattern here. So something to pay attention to. If people do start to sell off, we're going to see some junctional points here where we might hit and do a little bounce. So make sure you're paying attention to this chart here, because this very much could help you guys out when it comes to looking at the markets. In addition to that, I would also add, let's look at the shorts. There we go. All right, so, and this is kind of what I was kind of expecting a little, just simply because, all right, so we're starting to see shorter starting to step in, right? And the reason why is you can see that the seller or the buyers are starting to sell off their position, as well as now sellers or shorters are starting to pick up the short pressure to push Bitcoin down. Now, this isn't a big enough movement, but it's something to pay attention to, because this could start us off. So make sure you're paying attention. If we do a sell off here and then see it come up again, this is another thing that could be very much going crazy. Hey, let me I apologize. You guys are probably hearing some background noise. Give me one moment. I'll be back. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My bad. So here we are. You guys can see here on the 4-hour chart, we are starting to clear this 8 moving average, but we're really trending off of this 50 and this 20. So make sure that you guys are paying attention to that. If we really starts to push through, we're going to see some pretty volatile times. So when it comes to Bitcoin, and for us day traders, that's a good thing. All right. So next, let's go ahead and look at Ethereum. Let's check out F here for a second. I said the long is not bad. Pull up Ethereum right here. All right, guys. So let me jump right here to the weekly. Again, the weekly, we're still in between the range of the previous candle. Looks like we are going from wick to wick. We'll see what happens. So if this continues, we're going to see some pickup of selling volume step in. They really, or more or less, we could stay in between this range. Now, the other thing I pointed out was how we had the 200 period moving average on the weekly chart. We are right here. You can see how we did pierce it, and then it did basically kind of sell off here. So we're seeing a sideways pattern building up, kind of like what we're seeing with Bitcoin here. But like I said, pay attention to these marks here, primarily because it's something that very much, if we cross this and we start to see some pressure really push through, we very much can get back down here to the 900 and 800 period, or at 900, 800 area for F. So make sure you're paying attention to this. Great buying opportunity, I would assume. If this thing still continues down, make sure you guys are dollar cost averaging, just because that's smart to do. If that is what you're doing, it's always smart to do that. Let's go ahead and place this here. Yeah, so I can see it's staying in between this area, between the 12 and 1000 mark area, if it decides to hold. So it's going to be an interesting spot to see what happens here. But make sure you guys are paying attention to F. Let's check out the daily chart here. Daily chart's looking very, I would say, kind of weak, just simply because we only, if we fall through this area here, again, this is another thing. The next spot is really this spot that's going to stop it. But if we look into the past, there's not much there. Now I know I think the last show we went into the let me pull it up here real quick. As you can see here, guys, after this junctional point, like I said, the next spot on the weekly chart is here at that 600 mark, and then from there we're talking 300. So it'd be really unique to sit there and see the market really move on the not weekly, but monthly chart. And remember, the big dogs all play off that monthly and that weekly chart, simply because this is something that they use to be able to dictate the long holds, the holds that they'll sit there. And from a fundamentalist perspective, you know, $200, a $200 ETH, a $400 ETH, or 300, like a 360 area is a good buy in comparison to if anybody's familiar with all the utilities that ETH has. It's one of those ones that, you know, I can't see it just disappearing. You know, it might go down. We might see the market cap of crypto go down, but I don't think it's going to, just simply because the underlying value of cryptocurrency is so needed right now, especially with the turbulent times with the Federal Reserve, as well as many of the other countries around the world. It's something that at least keeps an autonomy in case if things do get really crazy. So we'll see what happens. In addition to that, we can see right here that you've got a nice little monthly zone right here. I'm actually going to make this right here. I actually like place this right here. It's a nice little area right here. I'm on a monthly chart. Pretty good. We'll see what happens. Actually, I'd probably place this more right here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's a nice little area right there. It's a nice little area. It's really pretty. Let me go ahead. So one of the things that I like to look at is when it comes to F, on a technical standpoint, you guys can see that we've had a few months now where we've come down quite a bit, right? We're definitely from the let me bring in Ralphie here real quick. Give me 1 second. Hey Ralphie, how you doing today? It's good to see you.
What's going on? How's everyone doing?
We having some good times here, man. Shoot, just kind of going over some charts. I'm going over real quick the major coins here, you know, from a technical standpoint. But I was pointing out that we've seen F really kind of come back down quite a bit. We've had a pretty good sell-off, right? So I could see us kind of holding back here just a little bit longer, just kind of going sideways on a monthly chart-wise.
It looks like a good base, yeah.
Yeah, it does. Now, I think we could see it come back down even further, just being honest. But even if it does, I don't see it, and this is what I was pointing out, I don't see it really, like I was telling people, disappearing, just simply because of the actual market value and what it brings to the table. There's so much utility to this from an actual business standpoint that I don't see it going away. You know, it's just, there's so much to it that it's phenomenal. And we've seen it retrace almost from the peak, almost 80%. Now, if I'm a fundamentalist, right, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, wow, this thing, if this is a good price, I think, but if this was to maybe even come down to that $200 mark or $600 mark, it's almost a no-brainer for them, right? Like, look, throw some, I mean, from a fundamentalist, somebody who owns a firm, who, you know, they'll put in, you know, $5, $10, $15 million in a project, right? And it doesn't really even hurt them, right? So that's really, you know, like a Goldman Sachs or a Bank of America, right? They can go through a boutique, and it's almost how it's done. You know, they go through another country that is, you know, look favorably on crypto, and then they set up a boutique shop where they fund. If you watch the show Billions, they kind of do this with Mace Capital. within it. Well, even though it's ran by other people, it's really owned by the people who are funding it. So I can see people when it comes down to here, major Goldman Sachs buying in this area, this 600, 400 area. It's just even 200. I mean, I could just
or maybe it just starts going sideways from here. Like, because if you look at the previous drop, right, back in 2018.
Yep, right here.
And then look when it went down, and then look how it went to sideways, right?
Right here. Yep.
Yeah, and there are times that it did drop, below that sideways movement, usually around like 300. It would drop to like 100, right? So basically it would be in this case like it moves sideways on 1,000 and then drops to like 600, like you said, at some point, and then like institutions will probably buy at that point, and then bring it right back up to 1,000. So I would say this is a pretty nice place to be at. And I mean, but the markets, of course, as we've been talking about, kind of shaky, right? So we'll see how this stuff ends up.
It's really interesting. Go ahead.
I just wanted to come in and say hi, man. I actually got to go in about 6 minutes. I just got out of one meeting, now I got another. But I just wanted to say hi. But that's cool, man. What do you see Bitcoin at?
So Bitcoin, so like I said, I see Bitcoin really kind of staying in between this area here. It's really
it's 20,054 right now. It's really flirting with that line. I mean, it's I think it's gonna probably go down below it again and test that $17,000 mark. And I know guys that like are heavy hitters with millions of dollars waiting to buy that if it happens again. So I'm wondering if it will go down below that, or if it will jump back again above this from 17,000. That'd be interesting.
Well, like we talked about a couple times on with the Moonrock, right? Like that 17,000 mark is really kind of like that line in the sand. So if it does not hold at this 17,000 mark area here, I can see us then coming down to because you know me, like I'm not gonna say it's gonna come up from here or down from here, right? I look at it things like, okay, if it comes from here, because I trade the market, right? The market tells me what to do. It's my master, right? It's my Sarge, right?
Yeah.
So if we do start to come down in this area and we see consolidate in this area, what we're seeing here, right? And I'm seeing higher highs, higher lows, higher, or just like we showed on F, right? And even we can look at the previous time it dropped, right? We saw the same thing that what we were seeing in F, right? Here we go. Give me 1 second. Right, this consolidation period of just it going sideways here and it rallying up. Right? This was the previous crypto winter here back in 2017. We saw a rally, come back down, and then put in new higher highs that we saw. Now, a lot of this right here was actually institutional because this is when they got listed on the CMC right here, right? And then they just pushed it down, they went sideways. But again, this is more of the sideways pattern that I'm talking about. So it's one of those things that, come on, I accidentally moved this. But this is where I think we could see some type of size pattern. I think personally, right, that regardless of whether it's movement, whether it goes up or goes down, I think that the institutions are accumulating. Whether it's going to go up or go down, they're accumulating.
Of course they are.
Because they have a real long-term mind view of
30,
40, 50.
Let's think about it. Like Goldman Sachs is announcing that they're trying to make a deal to buy the distressed assets of Celsius.
Yep.
You don't think that they're willing to buy distressed assets from Celsius and they'd be buying some Ethereum? I mean,
yeah, dude, I think you're nailing it. Like that idea is real simple. That they're simply like. First of all, the fact that the troubling assets of Bitcoin really isn't troubling to them because they're going to be buying, 10 cents on the dollar, So it's a
But
big
that
deal.
means that they believe in the space, right?
Yes,
Basically,
there you
because
go.
those distressed assets are tied to Bitcoin and Ethereum, right?
Exactly.
They're crypto assets that have been used to get leverage, to make loans, and all that. And so, if they're willing to make an investment on that, that means they believe in the underlying assets, which means that they probably own or are buying more of those underlying assets. And I know that they are because I know
Yes.
people that work there. Like,
Hmm.
it's guys. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, uh, don't. It's not dead. Oh man, what's gonna be funny is that we're gonna look back at this in the future, and people are gonna be like, "Man, I should have bought the dip." And it's like, yeah, we talked about it like almost every day.
Yeah, literally. And the other thing, like like buy major coins.
Responsibly though,
Yeah,
responsibly,
yeah,
right? Responsibly.
yeah. And again, this is not financial advice. It's only for entertainment, educational purposes only. But one of the things that I bring up is in 2008, when you had the huge sell-off, right? And you had the Great Recession that came in, major banks were going in who still had capital were buying the S&P 500. They were buying, assets like Ford, right? And a few other things that were just they have a lot of utility, just I mean, and a ton of utility. And this is where I bring up is if you're in the market of crypto and you're looking to buy and buy things with utility, right? But like I think AT&T is a great utility based company, right? Like they're very much in doing some good stuff. Ethereum, Solano's coming out with a cell phone, and they're a lot bigger now than what they were when they first started, right? So there's going to be a lot of people going to use that. And my hearing is right. You'll be able to, um, I forget what it's called. You're going to be able to mine. Is that correct? Or are they going to
On
have a
your
wallet?
phone. Well,
Yeah.
Tesla's trying to make a phone where you can mine off of it. So I
Is
wouldn't.
that is that verified? Is that legit or no? Because
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I think you can Google it. You'll find the articles on it. Hey, man, I gotta go now to that
all right.
next meeting. But
No
it
worries.
was a pleasure, and I'll try to come back as soon as possible.
Excellent. We'll see you then if you can. Talk to you soon,
All right.
Ralphie.
Thank you.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Later. Bye. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. I took a bit of some tea here. Um. So yeah, we're really seeing some really unique areas here that I find very interesting. Now let's check out um the full shebang here. One second. One second. Let's go check out Coin Market Cap and look at. Now it's crazy right now because I know almost a year ago we were flirting with 300 or 250, or excuse me, 2.5 trillion to $3 trillion. Now we're down at 800, almost $900 billion. We've shaved almost 60% off of our market cap as an industry whole. A lot of people sold off their stuff. Banks definitely, I think they who bought in definitely sold off stuff so that they could recoup profits. Um, but again, at this low price, it's one of those things that I think is really, really interesting because banks, they know this and they know that this is going to be in the 10, 15, 20 trillion dollars worldwide when it comes to, because remember, crypto is it's in America, it's worldwide, right? So 800 billion will be nothing in a matter of 5 to 10 years when this thing is sitting at maybe 20, 30 trillion dollars market cap. So make sure you guys are going through, checking out, doing your own research. And the reason why I bring up Coin Market Cap, you can do a lot of research off of Coin Market Cap. You can check out little altcoins if they're on here, as well as you can go through and check out the major trending coins that are out there. So I'm gonna point some else out here so you guys can sit there and see. You can see right down in this area. Oh, give me one second. It's pulling up here. You guys can see right in this area here that you have a list of all the major coins ranking from market cap, right? starting with Bitcoin, which is ranking at $382 billion. It's a market cap area. So it's holding strong, right? And you can go through and and I tell everybody, look, go through and start here and just start reading up on all the major coins that are out here. And especially right now when a lot of coins are going belly up that aren't around, you can go through and really you can buy a lot off of this. So something to pay attention to, right? You can go through and find some really hidden gems and then kind of go from there. I can't believe Terra Classic USD is still around. Pardon me. I was just, wow, USTC. Anyways, okay. So yeah, but you guys can check here real quick. Look at these. Yeah, and do some reading. Go out and do some reading because it'll be really, really interesting for you guys to sit there and look at. I personally love Pancake. I think Cake is really smart. I love what they've done with the perpetual futures. So, anyways, let's jump back into the analysis of what I'm going over. All right, now if we look at the XRP, or we already did Ether. Let's check out XRP. Now, XRP, like I said, is very similar to what's going on in the markets. I point this out. So let me jump to the weekly. Like again, we're still in between this candle here. So we're going to, I think if we do sell off from this point, we're definitely going to come down to that 28 mark area. So maybe pay attention to that. And then if we look at the daily, now also I just want to point out here that weekly, we definitely hit that 8 moving average from last week. And now it looks like we are starting to trend down here. So make sure you're paying attention to that, guys. We are definitely here, and it looks like it is moving because we did sell off here. So I'm going to bring this down here just a little bit more. There we are. Maybe just a little bit more here. My bad. Here we go. So here we go, guys. This is one of those things that this is middle of the week here. We definitely see that the week is definitely trending down here. We're in an area of demand. So pay attention for a pullback where you guys maybe rejoin the trend down because we are in this buying area on the weekly. You might want to make sure you're paying attention to that. All right, guys, let's check out the daily. And also, if you're listening, please like, subscribe, share us on your favorite media platforms, your social media platforms. Love to get some people in here asking questions and kind of maybe even asking us to look up. If you have any questions for us to look up, I don't mind checking them out as well. Now, you can see here that we are having, like, as most people know, the death crossover, the 20 and the 8. So making sure the 21 and 8, making sure that, you know, once this did this, we understood, like, all right, look, we're starting to go down here. We're starting to see more sellers come in. So, or excuse me, this was a bullish statement, not a when the 8 is moving above the 20, it was supposed to be bullish, but it rejected the 8 here. So we're starting to see it now push down. So I don't see it stopping at just in this junction. I can see it's coming down further into this demand zone on the weekly here, because just simply Bitcoin is starting to come down a little. So as well as we see F as well. So making sure you guys are paying attention to this. Making sure that you guys are also looking at the whole entire market. Make sure you guys don't become, as my coach says, monolithic. And so making sure you're paying attention to other details, making sure you go through your respective time frames and checking everything out as it lines up. Let's go on to all right, here we go. Ooh, I thought I'd mark this up. Nope. All right, you guys can see me mark this up. All right, so like again, we always start off on that month. What is the month doing, right? Do we have any SMAs? Are we near any major demand? I would say we are. We have some demand right up in this area here. Boom. A little bit of right here. So this is sitting in a nice area down in the 72 cents, 42 cents. Nice area to get in. This was the 2008 drop, or 2018. So this is something that we could see a nice little rally point from here. Making sure that you guys are paying attention to this, just simply because we could see another push up from this point. So this might be a nice little area to maybe dollar cost average into this area, the 72 cent to the 47 cents. It's one of those things that we don't necessarily know where they're going, but we want to play if it's moving down, right? This very much could be a turning over point right here. Now let's check out the weekly. Now weekly is sitting right above us, right? We can see that we're definitely under this influence here of the 8. It's definitely it's definitely controlling it. So making sure that we are paying attention to these junctional points, because these junctional points very much could very much turn against you. So if you're going long here and we're coming up to that 8 moving average, make sure that you know which way we're directing or which way it's going. Here we go. Move this, make this a. But you can see this very much could be a range area where we could be flowing from the 72 to 47 area to this $13 area, at least for in recent times. If we do see Bitcoin starting to drop off, that's something you guys need to be paying attention to. But as of right now, we are seeing in demand. So we'll see what happens here on the weekly chart. Let's go ahead and check this here real quick. One moment. Yep, there we are. Yeah, we're gonna mark this up here real quick. Also as well. Let's see what happens. There we go. And then let's go to that daily shot here. Now, as I'm looking at this here real quick, we can sit here and see that we definitely are trending down on that daily chart. We're definitely looking like it wants to move down. I would look maybe even to see a little bounce off of this, and then maybe seeing us come down into the respective areas, like I said. And then, yeah, it very much could come down to this area right in here. So making sure that you guys are paying attention to that. I would definitely be short on this. Maybe look for a retracement. So it's going to jump back down and then come back and maybe retrace up in this area. And then maybe get back on with that short. If we put a little bullish candle off of here, even today, it might even bounce off of here and come back up and retrace into that 8. So make sure you're mindful of that, guys. Just don't go short blindly into this. But if you're dollar cost averaging, this would be a nice little area. But I would wait maybe for the lower areas here if you're looking to do that. Let's check out Litecoin. All right, guys. So we are hitting. Let's check out right here. So we bound. Oh yeah. I remember this. Yes. We put this here simply because this was a previous resistance, or a previous support, which now might have become resistance. We had this here because of that. So now we're bouncing off of this, the 8 and the 20 here. So making sure that you guys are mindful of this. Like you guys have seen this here now starting to play. So make sure you guys you got this mindful here for a second. Also, one of the things I think you guys need to pay attention to, as well as the retracement. So it came down, hit this 200 period. You might want to wait until to join in on that retracement area right here at the 8 moving average. We could see a ping pong effect right here for a minute until we really start to see the turnover and rollover. And also the backside behind it as well as we are coming off. So if this does put this lower high in and it wants to move up, it very much could see it go up from here. As you guys can see, the retracement though, or the sell-off right here is being held by that 200 moving average. So making sure that not 200, I'm sorry, 20 moving average, and it's holding here, or I would say holding, but it's definitely, we are seeing a little bit of resistance here. So we'll see. We'll find out what happens. Let me go ahead and move this here real quick. There we go. So as you guys can see, we are having resistance at this level here. So we got a nice little wick right here that's holding this resistance. So making sure that you guys are paying attention to this as well. If it does hold, we'll probably see it then go up back to the 50 moving average if this does hold. So 2 junctional points is that 8 moving average, right? Paying attention to that. And then also the 50 moving average right here. It might even be seeing a rollover if it does come back down. But it also is all predicated off of Bitcoin. Just paying attention to the details here on that daily chart. Another area just to point out would be right here on that daily chart. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is if we start to accumulate and we start to see it go higher or lower high, lower, or excuse me, higher high and higher low and higher high and higher low, this area right here, by that time we might see the 59 or the 89 or even 100 moving average in this junctional point right here on this daily chart. So you might want to be mindful of this area just simply because if we do see some moving averages in this area, we could definitely see a turnover. And so it's one of those things that I think is important to pay attention to. Alrighty guys, let's check out. Where is it at? Here we are, BNB here real quick. Alrighty. Let's check out the 4-hour period, see what's going on. Boom, right here. Looks like we blew right through this area and then going right through these like butter. Ooh. The last few days, as we can see, it's been a major sell-off. Not a major sell-off, but it's been a sell-off of BNB. So making sure that we're paying attention to that, guys. But as you guys can see here real quick, there is accumulation happening. So making sure that you understand that people are definitely buying BNB here. Let's go ahead. Here we go. Nice little turning point here. Turning point right here. Boom. So if we do have a little retracement off of this area here, pay attention to this area right here very much. We'll find out if this area holds right here. If it does, maybe look to accumulate a little bit more of your BNB at these price junctions. Go through one here. Let's try it this way. It's a nice little area right here, guys. So these are certain junction points you might want to be paying attention to in the market when it turns around. Now, this is that 4 hour. Let's check out the daily here real quick. Nice area here. Actually, I think I want to play more right here. Nice little area right here, guys. So make sure you guys are paying attention to this area here. And that's it in a nutshell. It's gonna put that weekly. There we go. Check that daily zone. See if there's a daily zone. This error, or if we can even see a 4 hour zone. And here we go. Something to pay attention to, just because we've got that weekly moving average here. Now, I don't think that this zone here is super strong, but it's enough to know that it's there, and that 50 period moving average is sitting right there above it, or right in this area. So it's going to take the 50 moving average, unless we have a major sell-off within BNB, for it to push kind of in this area. I can see it's consolidating in this areas right here, guys. So making sure that you guys have mindful of that. Make sure you're mindful of that. Oh, there we go. There we are. Boom. So here we go. And then I just wanted to show off here real quick, Crow. Well, and we're going to go over a lot of this. So once my guest comes on, I'm just kind of going over this stuff real quick. And then we'll have a discussion with what he feels. He's a chartist. He's an expert chartist. I've never seen somebody better in my lifetime than him. He can call turning points on the 5 minute as well. He actually called the S&P 500 peak within our group and said, we're at the peak here. So that was very interesting to sit there and watch. Now, on the 4 hour period right here, make sure you guys are paying attention that we are blowing through some major time frame SMAs here on that 4 hour, and so make sure you guys are mindful of that, because we very much could be tapping into our area and then pushing up again on the short term. Nice thing on Solana, and then check out Crow. We're starting to see some type of sell-off here, but it's still in between, like I said, the previous candle here. So if we do see a sell-off, we could see it come down to at least that 11 to 10 cent mark. Now let's check out the daily. Daily chart's pretty, it reminds me of everything else. But the biggest thing is this is that we're starting to see the round over on that 8. So making sure that we will definitely be looking too short. Like I said, look for a retracement into your lower time frame or respective time frames that you trade off of. All right, guys. From a zone level, say that one second. This is an area that I would look for, just because of where it's at. Excellent. Making sure that we have these in conjunction. Now let's check out to see if there are any other moving averages in this area on any other time frame. Let's see. So we got that 400 period moving average really sitting in that. It's coming down respectively. So making sure that we're understanding that maybe by the time it rallies back up, you want to kind of predict the movements of of the markets, and because we can definitely say that sometimes the moving average are forecasting maybe where institutions might want to go to. But overall, it's one of those things that you want to just go in and stay with the trend, because this friend is your trend to the bin at the end. And as you guys have noticed, we are definitely having a sell-off on most cryptos. So for me, I know that for an accumulation of coins, right here, you guys consider maybe a little. We rallied up into this 8 and 200 period moving average. I can see us then turning around and then selling off to a disjunctional point here. Also down in this area here as well, the 10-cent mark. You're definitely going to have some fighting going on here, I'm pretty sure. Just simply because crypto.com is such a huge institution. They are Mr. Moneybags. They make so much money on what they do with their business. It's amazing what they do. So make sure you're paying attention to this 10-cent mark, 9-cent mark. You guys very much could capitalize on that when it does turn over and come around to this area. So make sure you're paying attention to these areas. There's a good dollar cost averaging. If we look at Matic here, good old Polly. Yeah, we didn't even make up to this area here. That's really impressive. There's some major selling definitely going on here. So as you guys see on the weekly, we definitely did hit the 8 period moving average. We are definitely selling off. But I would have thought we would have had more sellers push this down from Matic. Obviously, Matic came out with some good news, so it's what's keeping them alive here. So it's something to be paying attention to. It's still not Friday, but it is. We're about that halfway mark right here. You guys can see from here to here. So we might see some type of retracement up and then sell off, or it could just continue selling off down to the bottom, or a sell off like we see and turn around and continue up. So some of those things that you can be paying attention to when you're actually trading this, more of a macro or micro view. Now let's check out that daily. As you guys can see, that we were not able to hold that 8 moving average, and we are bouncing off of that, of the 20. So as you notice we're definitely putting in more seller wicks. There's definitely more seller wicks than buyer wicks there. And so I could see us continuing down on the day, at least to this junctional area of the 38-cent mark. I pretty positive we're going to come back down and test these areas here now, just simply because of the lack of conviction when it comes to buyers stepping in, because the bears keep taking over here, as you can see with the seller wicks. So making sure you guys are paying attention to that. Make sure, like I said, you use your respective time frames to jump in on a smaller time frame so you can minimize your risk, unless you're looking just to buy and hold. It's going to pull up. We already went through XRP here real quick. Here we go. Check out Link. Now, Ralphie loves Link. I was looking at Link here, and we've got a pretty big rally up from here if this thing does turn around on this daily. But since we've last looked at it, which was last week around here, this 50 moving average is definitely stepping in and taking control. So we can definitely see how it is pushing down the market. So making sure that you understand that, that 50 is pretty strong. Let's check out that week. Yep. So the 50 is that 8 on that weekly chart. So making sure you're paying attention to these junctional points. We are starting to really follow that 8 moving average. So if this thing sells off, like I said, I see us going down to at least the $5 mark area, and if not even further, just simply because of where we sit. Actually, no, not the $5 mark. At least the $5 mark if we do start to sell off. But I really do see us moving more towards that $4 and or even the $3 mark area, just simply because of the slippery slide down. So something to pay attention to there. I wish there was a way to lock these sometimes. Oh, I think there is. Yes, there is. There we are. Haha. I did not know that worked like that. That is cool. Actually, really cool. We're gonna move this here out of the way. And we're just gonna hit lock. All right, guys, so we're gonna check out here real quick, and I'm gonna finish this up with ADA. Actually, let's check out Shiba Doge. I know that Shiba Doge did get delisted from crypto.com, which was really interesting. Whereas you can normally go on crypto.com and stake it and earn some rewards. I know that they took those away, so we'll see what happens. But because of that, we are seeing a bit of a sell-off here because of that. So this happened yesterday. So it's really interesting to sit there and see that they are, that we're seeing some type of sell-off from that news. So that's definitely a news-generated thing. They also are coming out Shibarium, which is their own entire ecosystem stuff. SHIB is always the native token within it, but we know that SHIB, it's got a lot of utility. They're really going to be messing with and doing a lot with. Wow, Brandon, thanking that for a second. With NFTs and the new types of NFTs that are coming out, the utility of them, we know that they're really starting to play with a lot of that. So it's going to be really interesting. They did get stopped by this little buyer area, which is really impressive. I didn't think this would hold, but man, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens today. Let's check this out. Here we go. Another one right here. Yeah, so like I said, from here, if this does not hold, we're definitely going to see it come down into these lower ranges of 700, 600, which is a good area for dollar cost averaging. I know a few friends of mine who did get in at that 600, 700 mark. So they've seen quite a bit of their profits go back down, but I know that they've been staking quite a bit. So it's always good for them. But you can see here, guys, that this is being controlled by that 50 period moving average. It did stop it, but let's check out that weekly, which should be the 8 moving average. So as you guys can see here, our 8 is definitely moving up. So if we do continue to move up, we want to see this rally up and come by and find support on this 8 somewhere on this weekly. This is really the major one that's holding everything. So making sure you guys are paying attention to it. And then I'll do Doge for one last one right here. Let's check it out. As you guys can see here, these zones here did hold fairly well, pushed through, but now it's coming back. So it's holding. Now, mind you, I am a confirmation trader. I do not, I'll put in area zones, but I do not take those zones automatically. For me, I wait for it to confirm itself before I do jump in on them, right? And I'm always looking to see if it's going to continue as well. So I have my first target typically takes off my risk. Now, like I said, this is a daily zone. This is a lot of money for me on a day trading trade. So I go down to the smaller time frames. I have my respective time frames that I use, right? but then I enter in when it starts to show me bullish signs. So let me see if I can jump on the right here. So I would look for myself if I was, to maybe be looking to trade this. Now, I want to see some type of trending SMA, and I use a few of them. So I mean, as you can see, it's kind of hard to gauge what I would be doing, but I definitely have my own little rules that I've based around as a trending SMA. And so for me, I'm looking to get in. Now, like I said, a lot of people love exponential moving averages. Those are great. Whatever one that you guys play with the most, stick to what you have, whatever works for you. But as long as you have a winning condition, and in addition to that, you have certain parameters and rules that you don't deviate from, then make sure you're trading off of that. But as I'm looking on on this 5, I would really look more, let's see, on that 15 period. That 15 period is really more of what I would like to look at. So yeah, boom. Let's check out the 30 period moving average here. Let's check out the hour. Yeah, that I see that the hour is definitely holding here. So we can see on Doge, this area here where the 8 period moving average is definitely coming down, then bouncing up and coming back down again, and it's holding. So something to be paying attention to when you're looking to trade Doge. Right here, we can see that it is holding. We do have a crossover, bullish crossover, so we'll find out what happens. All right, guys, that's in a nutshell within an hour. I just want to thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you. Quick little recap of the day. I will be coming back on at around 1 o'clock. So if you guys want to come back on, you're more than welcome. But I look forward to having you guys come in. And I will be talking to you guys soon. Many blessings.